The Champions League playoffs have been drawn out, and my oh my, what a exciting and intriguing lineup this competition has in store for us. Hey guys, welcome to my channel, welcome to another video. This video is going to centre around the Champions League playoff draw that was made earlier on today, as 16 teams found out their fate as to what the playoffs have in store for them, as they aim to be joining the top 8 teams of the league phase draw in the round of 16 to be played out later in the competition. The 16 teams include the likes of Newcastle United, PSG, Qarabag, Inter, and of course Real Madrid, just to name a few. They all found out their fate today in what was a draw that left it very intriguing, left it mouth-watering to see what the prospects of not just what the playoff draw had in store for us, but what the implications could mean later on down the line when the draw is made for the round of 16 stage, and then of course the quarterfinals, followed by what possibly could be the semi-final draws, and of course the final that would be in Budapest later on this year. We're going to be looking at the draw. We're going to be looking at what the top 8 teams of the league phase could be drawing later on in the competition. But before we get into all of that and much more, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you are new. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. And of course, I encourage you all to get involved in the comment section as well. Let me know what you guys are thinking and feeling down below in that comment section. I'm sure what you have to say will make for great and interesting reading. So please do use and abuse that comment section and let me know what you guys have to say on this particular topic. Right, without further ado, let's get on with the draw then, shall we? Let's look at this draw, and my, oh my, like I say, look at what the knockout phase to the playoffs, the playoffs to the knockout phases have in store for us. Instantly, my eyes are drawn to this one in particular. Benfica versus Real Madrid. If that game is anything like what it was like when it played out on Wednesday night, we are going to be in for a treat. Of course, it threw up one of the most incredible moments in Champions League history when the Benfica goalkeeper, Trubin, scored a goal that saw Benfica claim that final knockout spot. Final playoff spot, should I say. In phenomenal circumstances. Benfica are already winning, but they needed one more goal to qualify on goal difference. And Trubin was the man of the moment. And as a reward for getting through, Jose Mourinho has the opportunity to once again get another one over on his former club in Real Madrid as the playoffs take place. Elsewhere, the ones that catch my eye in particular as a Liverpool fan are these two right here. Galatasaray versus Juventus and Club Brugge against Atletico Madrid. These two catch my eye in particular as a Liverpool fan because one of the winners of those two games will be facing Liverpool in the round of 16 stage. The other one will be facing Tottenham. So whichever way the results go, the winners of those games will be facing a Premier League team. I would strongly suspect that Galatasaray will pose a strong threat to Juventus. It'll be interesting to see how that one goes. Probably Juventus on paper should win it, but you never know. As for the other game, you'd probably suspect that Atletico could win it, but don't rule out Club Brugge and the young squad that they possess. Elsewhere, Monaco against PSG in an all-French affair. And on the other side of that draw, Qarabag against Newcastle. You would suspect that PSG, this season's cup holders, will win that game and go through to the round of 16 in a similar fashion to how they did last year, of course, when they had to make it through another French team in the knockout stages in the playoff stages to get to Liverpool in the round of 16. This time around, though, the winners of those games will face either Chelsea or Barcelona. And as for the other side of the draw, Newcastle have got a very favourable game against Qarabag. Not a foregone conclusion, of course. You can never rule anything out. But you would probably suspect that Newcastle will get through and that Eddie Howe's side have been given a bit of a lifeline in terms of that. And of course, it does set up the prospect that potentially it could be a Premier League encounter in the round of 16 between Chelsea and Newcastle. But also Qarabag, like I say, don't rule them out. Even if they did get smashed 6-0 by Liverpool on the final league phase game of the group stages. Whatever it's called. I messed that up completely. Anyway, you know what I mean. Elsewhere, like I say, Benfica versus Real Madrid is the one that instantly catches the eye. But what about this one? Inter Milan versus Bodo Glimt. Bodo Glimt, if they are to use their home advantage, that could mean a lot. If they to use their home advantage to their advantage, that could mean a lot going obviously into the second leg. But the San Siro will be a tough place to go. But you wouldn't rule out the Norwegian club, would you? You would not rule out the Norwegian club. Yes, Inter should be winning on paper, but you would never rule the Norwegian club out. The winner of those two games will meet either one of Manchester City or Sporting, depending on obviously which side of the group draw that they are drawn on. I don't know why they didn't just do it all in one go, but they decided to build the suspense and dramatise it completely by not drawing it completely, which I thought was strange. I thought they would have done. But we'll be down this road in about a month's time working out where the top 8 teams are, which route the top 8 teams are going to be going down. Are they going to be going down the silver side or the blue side? We'll wait and see. And then to round off, obviously, this playoff draw, Borussia Dortmund are taking on Atalanta and Olympiakos are taking on Bayer Leverkusen. One of these two teams, well, two of these two teams, whichever one wins in their respective games, will obviously be taking on the teams that finished in the top 2 of the league phase this year in Arsenal or Barcelona. Of course, there's a prospect of an all-German affair if either one of Dortmund or Bayer Leverkusen wins, because obviously one of them will be then taking on Bayern Munich. But of course, there is the possibility that Arsenal may have Atalanta, Arsenal may have Dortmund, Arsenal may have Leverkusen, or Arsenal may face the Greek side known as Olympiakos. Again, it's anybody's for the taking in terms of these. You would not necessarily rule any which one of them out. You'd probably say that Dortmund, maybe on paper, probably edge it against Atalanta. But again, don't ever rule out Atalanta. We know that in Europe, especially in the knockout phases, they can be dangerous on their day. And as for, obviously, Olympiakos against Leverkusen, you probably would suspect that Leverkusen would win. But again, Olympiakos, no pushovers in these types of competitions. Even though you probably would safely assume Leverkusen would get through. But this isn't the Leverkusen of a few years ago. So just bear that in mind if you're casting your predictions. Either way, look, it's going to be a very exciting knockout stages. We've already had an incredible league phase. Like I say, I really like the new format of the league phase. I didn't suspect I would when it was first announced and when they were trying to explain it. But now that we've had 2 seasons of it, I have to say that I have really enjoyed the league phase, and especially the final game of the league phase draw. It really was exciting just to see all the teams kind of jostling for position, how goals can change everything, how points can change everything, the jeopardy, the going from euphoria to then going to being completely disappointed and dropping out. It really did make it seem like every game, every point, every goal was vital. And I don't think you necessarily got that in previous years when obviously the group stages was still a thing. Because 9 times out of 10, at least one team in the group phase ran away with it. Sometimes two, depending on obviously how the groups how the groups kind of were drawn out. I really like the league phase draw, and now that we're obviously entering into the playoffs, it makes it a little bit more exciting in terms of obviously it's the knockout to the knockout, and there is actually some sort of benefit to obviously going into the top 8. And obviously, you know, it's a little annoying that the one time we don't top the group is the time that Liverpool, the time that Arsenal do, and you know, realistically, whichever way the results go in the playoffs, they're not going to get as tough a draw as PSG in the round of 16, which seems a little harsh on Liverpool considering what happened last year with topping the group and then getting PSG in the round of 16. Arsenal won't get as tough a team in this time around, with all due respect. But again, you can never take anything for granted in this competition. It has thrown up some absolute surprises and incredible moments, and I suspect that will not stop this time around as well. But those are your playoff games to the knockouts for this season's competition. These are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys are thinking and feeling, though. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys are thinking, feeling, your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, for the playoffs to the knockout stages for this season's Champions League. I'm sure will make for great and interesting reading down there, so please do use and abuse that comment section, people. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way out if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you are new or want to see more content like this. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I will see and speak with you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your day. Speak to you all again very, very soon.